Hello everyone and welcome back to Vet Chats, where we help veterans share their awesome stories and keep positivity going throughout the veteran community. I hope you'll stay tuned to hear how this generation is continuing their service. Vet Chats is available on Reese Across America Radio. We are played Mondays at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. They have a ton of great veteran content that I know you'll appreciate, so be sure to check them out. You can find them on the Odyssey app, iHeartRadio, and their website. Hello everyone. I hope you had a great weekend and happy Memorial Day weekend. If you have any plans, what's everybody doing? I know there's a lot of commotion. There's always a lot going on in the veteran community for Memorial Day. Me and my husband, we always try to do a Memorial Day Murph, but it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so I guess we're gonna have to do it in the rain. Yes, I can imagine. So we have a great guest tonight, and I'm really excited because I don't think he's never done an interview before, but you've probably seen his face. He's big on TikTok. His name's Sunny Actual, and he does a lot of veteran comedic videos that they're just so relatable. And he has this character Kyle, and I think every single one of us has known a Kyle. Either maybe he was in your unit or your command. Like, everyone knows a Kyle, so if you've seen him, we're going to get him on, and we're gonna hear about the face behind the account. All right, so I'm going to request him to get on. I don't see him yet. Let's see here. Breath. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Hey, Brendan. Sunny, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah. Hey, how was your weekend?
Pretty quiet. Not too bad.
That's good. That's good, though. Any plans for Memorial Day tomorrow?
Just hanging out with some friends here in Nashville.
Awesome. You sound really quiet. I don't know if it's me or...
I think it's just my crappy phone.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay. Should sound good then. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you here. As I was just telling everyone that you don't do live. You've never been live on Instagram before. And
no, I'm gonna look like a boomer on this. So.
And you've never done any sort of interview, have you?
I've done like a few podcasts in the past.
Oh, you have?
Like just small kind of veteran themed podcasts, but I've never done like a live like this.
Oh, okay. Cool. So we get to interact with the audience. Awesome. So let's get into it, Sunny. How did you, where are you from and how did you end up in the Army?
Yeah, so born in New York, Long Island, Mineola, for anyone from New York. Grew up in Northern California, in a college town called Davis, Northern California.
Okay.
Spent most of my life there. Went to undergrad at Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, and then I never had any plans to join the Army or anything. I was going to be a scientist, like my dad. My dad's a scientist. And then I was like 19, 20, and I kind of just realized like I'm not, reading science textbooks to go to sleep or anything like that. I wasn't that passionate about it. And then, I don't know, I was reading some books about different jobs and things I could do, and somehow I stumbled on the military, and it was too late to do ROTC or anything like that. So I applied to OCS right after I graduated, and which is Officer Candidate School in the Army, for anyone that doesn't know. And then, around 2016, I joined, did basic training, OCS, chose the infantry during OCS. Really didn't know too much about it other than everyone that I hung out with at Officer Candidate School was going infantry that I thought was cool. So
you're just let's try that.
The bros are going infantry, I'll do it too.
Wait, did your parents have any what did they think about you joining the Army and then going infantry?
Well, they didn't didn't really know anything about the military because I'm not from a military family or a military town or like you know like no one I knew growing up or was friends with joined the military, so they didn't really know anything about it. I think they were kind of confused, probably, because I was doing this
Right.
stuff. Um, but they were pretty supportive. My dad came to like every one of my graduations. It was really sweet. Um, they didn't really. I could have told them I was going logistics, and they would have thought it was the same as the infantry. So.
Right, right. Yeah, I relate to that. My parents didn't know too much about the military either, so they were just like, "Yay, Jenna, you're doing something."
Yeah, it was the same way.
So what is it like do you have to go on to another school to become an infantry officer, or what's that like?
Uh, yeah, I don't know how it is for the other branches because you're Navy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after officer candidate school, depending on what you branch, like infantry or artillery or something like that, you go to a specific officer school for that. Um, Mine is infantry officer school, or IBOIC. Um, and yeah, you spend, I think it's like 4 months when I went, maybe it's longer now. Um, and they just, you just do infantry stuff. You don't really learn a lot about like, actually what you do in the regular army, but uh, they're really just trying to help you pass ranger school, which is like all infantry officers have to go after IBOIC. And yeah, it was a good time.
So is it
From
a
what I
lot
remember.
more like leadership stuff, or is it more like, on the job training? Like, I don't know. How does that work?
Man, it's been a long time. I just remember spending a lot of time in the field.
Oh, wait,
Um,
someone said Sunny's mic sounds like it's covered or is something. Okay, so it's not just me.
yeah,
Do
it's
you have anything over
probably
your
just
mic?
my phone. Let me.
Maybe it's a case on your phone?
No, I don't have a case on. Is it still bad?
Yeah, I don't know what it
I think it's
is.
just my iPhone. Kind of sucks, but
Maybe you could just use your. I don't want you to like yell. It just sounds like a very soft. Like I can hear you fine, but I probably sound really loud compared to you.
yeah, I don't know. Um, if it's a problem, I can like. I know you said headphones probably aren't too good, but
Maybe let's try the headphones. Why not?
okay.
If you have them on you.
Yeah.
Or
It's
is this just as bad?
He's trying to sound cool and mysterious. That's probably why. Oh, this sounds a lot better.
Okay.
There we go.
I told you.
Okay, so you were kind of explaining like what the ins and outs, like what are you learning, or is there like any funny stories or something from that time?
Gosh, it was like a blur at this point. Um, yeah, infantry officer school is like just a lot of time in the field. Um, they teach you about a bunch of things I don't remember, like property and things maybe I should have been paying attention to. And then everyone just went to Atlanta every weekend, Auburn, which I think is blacklisted now, from what I hear. Um,
Oh, the
Scott,
Army, you can't go there anymore, like Army people.
well, there's a bar called Sky Bar in Auburn, which shout out Sky Bar. And I don't think I don't think the I'm sure people still go, but that was that was a fun time. I don't remember a lot. It was so long ago. But yeah, it's just a lot of time in the field, and then you're just like they loom Ranger School over your head the whole time. And you just feel like if you don't pass Ranger School, you should kill yourself or something. So at least that's how you feel when you go through the school. And
What's like the alternative? Where do Ranger School dropouts end up?
I mean, you still go to the regular army. You just feel, I imagine, not good. Um, but that yeah, this is like 6 years ago now, 6, 7 years ago. So my memory is probably a bit hazy.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, everyone's saying you sound better, so that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so you obviously you passed Ranger School. Was it that intimidating?
I don't think the school sucks. I think if you make it past like the first week, really, rap week, I don't even know if the school is the same anymore as when I went through. Uh, so this is just my memory. But yeah, if you made it past the first week, you're probably going to make it through the school. And yeah, I mean, Ranger School is a weird thing. When you go through it, you kind of see a lot of people that weren't very good get the tab, and then you get it, so you kind of downplay it when you go through it because you just saw like maybe not the best people get it. But I don't know. I thought it was an accomplishment. It was just a miserable school. That's really, most people will make it through if you just kind of do what you're told. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, yeah, you just kind of got to stick it out. Okay, yeah, and I think that is an accomplishment. Like you should be proud of that. And so, like, where did you have any dream orders when you graduated this school, or like what were most people wanting to do? Did a lot of people want to go overseas, or were they wanting to go to Iraq, or what was that like?
Yeah, so I joined 2016, late 2016, and this was when the 82nd were in Mosul fighting ISIS. So that was like all over the news, and
Right.
I think we all wanted to be a part of that. And then uh, I think that was the big thing for guys in our IVOLIC class was, yeah, especially if you're infantry, you wanted to go to Afghanistan or Iraq or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I could see like the kind of the atmosphere, like wanting to go there. So where did you end up?
So I ended up in Alaska, which like I don't know how. So I think West Point guys get to choose where they're stationed. Like they actually get before they graduate West Point, they know where they're going, and then ROTC and what I was OCS, uh, you kind of pick. I remember like you rank your like your top choices or whatever.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure they just like put that in a shredder because there was no
right.
uh, there was no like rhyme or reason to who got what posts. And I got Alaska, Fort Wainwright, which I think it's it's got to be like one of the worst places on the planet.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Not many people get to say like they lived in Alaska.
yeah, as a single guy in his like early 20s at the time, that was an awful place.
There's not a lot of social
No, there was
atmosphere.
like three bars. The Big Eye, if anyone from Alaska is somehow on this live, the Big Eye was where like everyone ended up because it was open till 2 or 3 a.m. But you were just gonna see everyone from Fort Wayne right there, so you didn't really want to go out. And then the nearest place to go out was Anchorage, which was like 6 hours, 7 hours driving, and there's nothing in between. It's not like towns along the way that there's
Right.
nightlife. It's just Fairbanks, where I was at, and then Anchorage. Um, and so that was really the only place you could go to try to date anybody.
Yeah,
And on
Tinder's not
six,
really popping up there
no,
too much.
run out of people in like 10 swipes or so. So
Well, I wonder if it says like, sorry, these are all
yeah, you get
just
that within
really.
like 5 minutes of opening, and then you're just depressed. But no, it was a cool. It took a while to kind of embrace doing outdoor stuff there, which you kind of have to do. You just have to accept when you're in Alaska that you're not going to have a much of a nightlife, which when your other friends are in cool places like Campbell or Hawaii or Italy or something like that, it can feel uh, just kind of sucks to see them, traveling
Yeah.
around Europe or something. And I'm, at Hoodoo Brewery in Fairbanks. Um, but no, it was a cool experience. I got to hunt caribou, do cool stuff like that, which I don't think I would have done. But I just kind of had to accept that I had to do Alaska stuff or I was just going to go insane. So
Right. Did you do any like were you guys on the coast? Were you able to do any fishing trips or stuff like
no,
that?
no, so that's I did do fishing, but or go fishing, but no, I think you're thinking of Fort Richardson. Yeah, Fort Richardson in
Okay.
Anchorage,
Yeah.
which is it's a much better post. because it's in Anchorage. But no, we're landlocked, like right below the Arctic Circle. So
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, what's the main mission of that base? Like, what's the point of being up
I
there? Is
don't
it
know.
Russia? What?
I get asked that a lot, especially by civilians when I tell them I was well, I'm a civilian now, but you know what I mean. When I tell people I was in Alaska, people are like, why is the Army there? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I ask myself the same thing. I don't know. It's like Arctic training. I'm sure there's a good reason, but
You just
I
can't share it with us.
no, it's just I didn't know. Like we also had strikers. I don't know if they still have them there, which didn't make any sense because the strikers don't do very well in the snow, or any of the terrain we had there. So I don't know. It was a it's a terrible duty station. I think anyone that was stationed there, I don't know. It's quite a place.
Yeah, someone commented, they said, congrats on making it out of Alaska as not an alcoholic or something like that.
Oh no, that's the first place I definitely like started to drink by myself. I was like, this place sucks. So
Really? Did it become a problem or was it just like, something to pass the time?
no, nothing like terrible, but it's just I mean, if you're a single guy up there, I mean, there's a very like real limited amount of women there, like a finite, like, and it's just a bunch of men in Alaska, really, with like the military, oil, fishing, hunting, stuff like that. So once I kind of started to do outdoor stuff with my friends, that was a lot better. I just had to embrace like, all right, like, I'm not gonna have a social or like a nightlife or anything here. It wasn't. Overall, I'm glad I was stationed there. It was a cool experience. Like, not many people like will dream their whole lives of visiting Alaska, so it was cool to live there for a few years. You get to see the northern lights on it. Like, people travel to see the northern lights, and you can just see it, in your backyard on a random Tuesday or something. So that was pretty cool.
That is special. And you always get to win the contest when someone's like, oh, it's so cold here. And then you can always be like, yeah, well, I used to live in Alaska, so
Yeah,
not really.
Alaska, that cold, it would get like -60, I think was the coldest it got when I was up there, -50.
Oh my gosh, how do you even go outside?
It's actually, so it's not that bad if you're moving and you're wearing the right stuff. It doesn't sound like it would be, but if you're moving, because like when you hunt caribou, which is normally in the winter, it's like -10, -15, but you can be sweating if you're moving around. It's just when you stop and there's just only so much, like I think we were issued level 7s, which are like the highest grade of like cold weather gear, and you're just you're still cold. You can't put anything on anymore. So
Wow. So they issue you like Gore-Tex on Gore-Tex, like.
yeah, it was called the marshmallow top. I think that was the level 7. That was the slang for it. But at a certain temperature, if you're not moving, you're still freezing in that thing, especially if there's wind. And you're doing these field problems where everyone's freezing. No one wants to move, So,
Okay.
but it was a cool experience, like looking back on it.
Yeah. You're glad you did it. So you didn't stay there forever. Where did you end up next?
Yeah, so actually I deployed with them 2019 to 2020, which I thought was awesome just to get out of Alaska for a year. And I was lucky. By the time I joined, the Army really wasn't deploying very much anymore. So I was happy I caught a deployment. It was pretty mild, mostly tower guard deployment, but it was still cool to be out there. We were on a COP for a little while. One of the last COPs probably of that era. Alkheim, shout out anyone that was at Alkheim, which was a cool experience. We took some IDF. That was about it. Nothing to like write home about. And then finished out another year in Alaska, and then applied to business schools on my way out because I just didn't know what I knew I wanted to get out of the Army. I was kind of just wanted to do different things in my life. In Alaska was kind of when I started filming videos. Again, I'd made videos as a kid, like edited little movies I made with my friends and stuff. But I kind of like rediscovered how fun that was when I was in Alaska. So I knew I wanted to get out and do something along those lines, I don't know, something on my own. Really didn't have a plan. So I had the GI Bill still. I figured, okay, a lot of officers are going to the MBA. Didn't know anything about an MBA program other than I could procrastinate, facing the real world.
Right. Buy some more time.
Yeah, so I applied to a few business schools, chose NYU in New York, and then spent 2 years in New York. And right when I got out, which would have been like 3 years ago now, is when I first started posting these like comedy, like military veteran videos, and they really took off and haven't really, stopped since then.
Right. Well, so what was your first video and how did that idea kind of come to you?
So the first video I made was Shit Commanders Say, I think. And I think that was my first video. And the idea for that honestly just came from like just the terrible leaders I had, especially in Iraq. Like our leadership changed over before the deployment, and a lot of the people we got in charge of us, I didn't, think were the most, I don't know, the best.
Right.
And so me and my platoon sergeant, he's actually probably the inspiration for a lot of this. He would just make really funny, I don't know, comments about things that were going on, and in a really sarcastic way. So a lot of my humor is like from just talking with him about stuff that was going on. And so I kind of had these ideas floating around in my head. I'd shared it with my friends and they thought it was funny. And then when I started posting, I really just made it to share with my friends, like,
right.
Posted it to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, be like, it's kind of liberating. You're out. No one can, give me an Article 15 or anything.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun to like poke fun at some of the things I saw, and then it really took off. And then I was like, wait, I have other things I can.
I have more.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just kept going. Now I've kind of not really done too much active duty content because I'm just, I'm out and it's not as relevant to me anymore. So it's a lot more veteran themed.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, and I think you capture the essence of, what so many of us are thinking. I think one of them was like, like what type of veteran are you going to be? And then you go through like kind of like the bro vet, the marathon runner, the
right.
Like starting a coffee brand or something, like all of those personas, and it's like, okay, we have to choose which one. That really cracks me up. So do you engage with like a lot of veterans in person, or like how do you kind of, because you have like such a good read on it, like how do you come up with that stuff?
So at grad school, there was a veterans club, all cool guys and girls, and so I got to experience just I don't know, just not really share stories like about our time in, but just maybe our perspective on getting out and what it feels like. So that was helpful to just give me ideas, just be around them, and I would observe like funny things. And then especially all my friends while I was in were other military people. I wasn't going to make any friends in Alaska. I think there was a university in Fairbanks, but they hated the military. And so all my friends were Army. So getting out, like once you get, making civilian friends and stuff like that, you're able to kind of see how, I don't know, strange and weird the experience was. So then a lot of those interactions will kind of, I don't know, give me ideas for, what to make videos about.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does. And one of your characters that you do is Kyle. And is
Yeah.
Kyle like based off of a real person, or how did that start?
Yeah, Kyle is like a few different, for those that don't know, Kyle Johnson, Specialist Kyle Johnson, although maybe I'll make him that he's out in the military now. He's basically like, um, yeah, he's kind of that douchebag E4 who is like really physically fit, oddly very good at his job, but it's just, like kind of a prick to everyone. And I'm sure people knew Kyle's in their hometown. Yeah, he's based on a few people I know in real life. So he's kind of just a combination of those guys. He's fun. He's fun to play, just because he has no self-awareness or anything.
Yes, yeah, I think we all know Kyle for sure. He's he's funny. I love that character. You need to bring him back more.
Yeah, I'll bring him back. I have a few ideas with Kyle.
Yeah. And so like when you're creating these videos, do you ever have you ever has this ever crossed your mind like I hope I don't offend someone, or like what if the person that this is about, or somehow like does any of those like if people that you did serve with or see this, will you hurt their feelings at all? Does that ever cross your mind?
Um, Kind of. I mean, I don't ever set out to like tear someone down. I think
Right.
sometimes that annoys me a little bit when I'll make fun of, like, I try to make fun of a personality trait maybe, or something funny about an interaction, that I think is humorous if you look at it from a certain angle, but I don't set out to like,
Right.
uh, so I'll make sure when I watch it back, does it look like I'm actually hating on this person? And so I do keep that in mind, but I don't think too much about, you know, people will get, I just learned that people get offended no matter what. Um, so yeah, it does cross my mind a little bit. I just want to make sure it doesn't look like I'm trying to tear someone down specifically. I made a video about like making fun of Navy SEALs a little bit. Uh,
Oh, you can't, the untouchables right there.
yeah. Just the fact that civilians like think they're the greatest thing, and it's just funny that in the Army we didn't ever really think about Navy SEALs. Like you
Mm.
worship, like, I don't know, regiment or CAG or something like that. So I kind of, the joke was kind of pointing that out. Um, but people would comment like, "Oh, he's talking about so and so Navy SEAL," and I was like,
Right.
"No, just a general video about SEALs." So
Yeah. It's so funny how people can kind of twist things, or just like read into it way too much. Has those type of comments like made you change your style of videos, or made you from like kind of deterred you from not making certain content?
it sometimes does. It did a lot more in the beginning, because I didn't have the confidence of knowing that I could make videos that get views or would make people laugh or anything. So I think it affected me more in the beginning. Now I ask myself like, is this like an authentic video? Like, did I think it was funny? And if I did, and my friends think it was funny, then I don't care if other people, uh, you know,
Right.
twist it. And I try not to read I'll try to read the top comments or something, or funny comments. I'll repost them sometimes, and I'll try to engage with those people. But I don't spend that much time in the comments like I used to in the beginning. Otherwise, it'll just kind of go insane.
Right. Yeah. If you live in your comments, you're not going to be doing this for very long
Yeah,
because.
people just take it. Like, I made a video. It was a pretty big. Like it was uh, like, it got a lot of views about Army versus Marine recruiting.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
shared that one.
which was just, I thought it was a funny video. Like, if anything, I'm an Army guy. I thought it put the Marines in a good light. And then people in the comments will just be arguing about whether Army or Marines is better. It's like, dude, I don't care. Like, I just wanted to make it's just a 45-second video about how the Army probably needs people more than the Marines. So they have a more desperate recruiting policy, and people just,
Right.
take it way too far.
Yeah. And that's true though. I mean, Army has more spaces to fill and they're way behind. Um, to reaching their quota. So it makes sense, and it's funny because it's so true. I mean, that's obviously why it went so viral, because people relate to it. But yeah, someone just said triggered bro bets, which is exactly what it is. And my Instagram is connected to my Facebook too. So all my Instagram reels go on my Facebook, and like all these boomers have found my videos, and they
Oh
just
no.
and I haven't checked it in like a month, and I went and checked it, and I realized like they were doing really well. And it's because all these boomers are on there going back and forth. And you know they're a boomer because they'll always comment saying Navy 74 through 79. Like, do you get those comments?
No, I think most of my audience is like GWAT era.
Okay.
So it's more, there's less of a gap in service.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really get too many I was in Afghanistan,
Okay.
2000, 2009 in
I'm
like a mean way.
surprised.
Yeah, it's mostly people just arguing with each other, which I'm like, I mean, it boosts my views, but I don't know why people would waste their time doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, especially so I was on TikTok for a little bit, and then I deleted it because I felt like there was just all these like bots, and maybe it was just like my own conspiracy, but I feel like there was bots on there that would push
Chinese
people to,
bots.
yeah, and they would like push people to be like, oh, veterans or blah blah blah. Like they would just leave hate comments all the time, and I don't know. I was just like, I don't have time for this.
Right.
But so that like kind of leads me to my next question. Like, how do you feel about the climate, or maybe even the veteran community on TikTok versus Instagram?
It's definitely bigger on Instagram, just because I think TikTok's kind of a younger app.
Yeah.
So I don't really see too many other veterans on TikTok as much as I do on Instagram. So
Like
I
as
don't,
terms of other creators.
yeah, other creators, and just TikTok's it's a lot different than Instagram. It's less of a community feel, you're kind of just blasting your videos out, and, you know, people see them. You don't really have the followers don't feel the same as Instagram, where they can DM you uh, in the same way.
Oh,
It's definitely bigger on Instagram, um, which I also don't feel like, I don't know what way I'm part of the veteran climate. I just kind of post my videos and do my thing and then log off.
right, right. No, I mean, I think you're definitely in the fold. Like, actually, I've noticed like veteran creators, or like especially people on Instagram, like if you're affiliated with the military at all, like they claim you. They're like, yes, we need more of us. Like, please join us. Let's collab, sort of thing. That's how I've noticed. Like, have you had a lot of people reach out wanting to collab with you? That's why I was surprised that you haven't done like more stuff like this.
There's a few people in Nashville I've done some videos with. I haven't really gotten too many, I don't know, collab, uh, I don't know, DMs. I don't really know if there's maybe just they're not doing skits, or I don't know, they haven't reached out. Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of just like doing my, think of an idea, post it. If there happens to be someone nearby or in the area that has an idea that meshes with what I find funny, then I'll do it. Otherwise, um, I don't want to get too. I feel like if you're too much in the veteran world, you can kind of get put in a box, and
Right.
then they'll kind of decide like rules for you. Like you can say this or not say this, and I don't.
Yeah, or they'll expect you to speak on certain things.
Yeah, I try not to. I mean, the military is naturally political because it's the military a little bit, but I try not to go out of my way to do anything that's, you know, I don't know, political, or I want my page to be mostly just funny things, lighthearted stuff. I don't want it to be, I mean, I was just an officer, like infantry platoon leader, so I'm not really qualified to, speak on, I don't know, like global conflicts or anything. So,
Right, right. Yeah, and people will expect you to do that, but I don't think there's anything wrong with, like wanting to just stay to what you know and all of that. And I think sometimes, like I've, like I've even felt I had like 4,000 followers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I say something on this? And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. Nobody cares what I say. But it's just like, yeah. Anyhow, so when you say like being put in a box, like what else are you working on? Like where else would you like to go in terms of career wise?
So as far as these videos go, um, I've really, like I said earlier, uh, moved away from doing active duty content, um, to like active duty military content, just because at some point too, I'm just going to be so far out that I'm not even it's the experience is going to be different than when I was
Yeah.
in. Uh, so it's just not going to be very authentic. So a lot of the videos I'm posting now are, a mix of veteran like interactions, that I'll experience, or just similar topics. Like I made one about Toyota cars or trucks recently that did pretty well. That's not directly a military video, like you don't have to be in the military to necessarily find the video funny. So that's kind of the direction I think I'm going to go, just because at a certain point, like I don't want to be out 10 years still talking about my 4 years, 4.5 years that I did, because I didn't, there's other stuff I want to do. So I still want to keep the same style of humor, same entertainment value, hopefully, and just try different topics, things I experience, maybe short films or something like that that are still, they might use the military as a backdrop, but I don't want to make it like you have to be in the military or a veteran to understand.
Right. Yeah. That would be cool, like a short film or something.
Yeah, just like short skits that, yeah, you don't have to, it's not like, that one time at band camp type of
Yeah.
video, which, was funny to start making those when I started, like active duty, like, the supply sergeant who's acting like this. But yeah, at a certain point, you know, I only did four years, so I don't want to be that guy like 15 years from now who's still, can't let
Right.
go of it. So
Yeah. And your content will evolve with you. It just does. It can't stay the same forever. So someone said, and I think this is a really good question to ask you. Someone said, how can I find a way to be happy with myself
oh
post-military? Like,
my gosh.
like, I'd like to ask you, like, how was your transition getting out of the
uh,
military?
um so
Oh, and also advice for that person,
yeah, damn.
for
Just my
Matthew.
um well, as my friends joke, I made a skit about this actually. My best friend, if I call him and say something like that, he'll just be like, "Just end it, bro." Um, as a joke. Don't actually do that.
Right, right. It's
Yeah, so
that
my
dark humor.
transition was pretty good right when I got out, because I went straight to grad school where there was a veterans club, and I was just so busy with grad school. I moved to New York City. I just come from Alaska where I was like, like a sheltered child. Um, so I actually didn't really think I experienced the transition until after grad school, because that's when everyone went their own ways, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, I have to like try to make friends now, you know?
Right, it's
uh,
awkward.
and it's a weird, yeah, it's a lot tougher than I think people will give it credit for. I think when people talk about the transitioning being hard, they talk about combat vets, um, and that's certainly valid. I was not shot at, nor was I in a firefight or anything. So I don't know, man. It's it was pretty tough. Like I've been about a year out of grad school now. I think what helped a little bit was finding veteran groups. PB Abate, which I'll shout them out, is a great group because they're not like super veteran, if that makes sense. Like anyone can be a part of it. They got chapters in a lot of different cities. Their whole goal is just meet up, I don't know, go to a game or something like that, or just meet up for some drinks or golf or something. And that can be kind of nice because you're not talking about the military. but you're just around people that are kind of similar to you. So there's kind of some comfort in that.
Yeah.
How to be happy though? I'm still, that's a question probably I'm still working through. I think you have to find something that, it's going to take some trial and error probably, but try to find something that, I don't know, makes you feel alive. Whether that, for me, it's a lot of outdoor hobbies. I go diving, scuba diving. That really helps. Going on trips like that with your friends can really help, but it is pretty tough. I don't know if I have a good, I don't know if
Was
I have a,
What was like hardest for you? Was it like routine? Was it, like finding that friend group or like social interaction? What?
yeah, I think there wasn't, you have to kind of create your own purpose, I guess, when you get out, which kind of is it's pretty hard. For
Yes.
me right now, that's creating content. I mean, I don't have too many thoughts when I'm creating content, which is good. Uh, I think the hardest part is when you're in the military, even though it sucks a lot of the time, like 99% of the time, you kind of have like some sort of drive.
Yeah.
Even though
You have
it's
a
stress,
mission.
you have a mission, and it wasn't even really like, oh, I'm serving my country. I wasn't thinking about that. It's just you have something to show up to, even if you're competing against another platoon, or there's kind of some like pressure,
Yeah.
um, and a punishment if you don't perform. Whereas on the outside, it's kind of like, all right, I'm go to work, I guess, and then just go home,
Yeah.
um, which is why I made like a depressed veteran video that did very well, I think,
I
on the
shared that
POV
one
topic.
too today.
Um, but in terms of being happy, man, I think just trying to find things that excite you and just trust that you're not going to feel like happy overnight. You can't just go from feeling like having no purpose to tomorrow suddenly feeling a lot better. But I think if you just try to work at finding groups that similar minded people, try to make some civilian friends too. Don't just only hang around with veterans. And I
Yeah.
think if you keep doing that, you'll find something that excites you. Could even just be volunteering. I don't know, anything.
Right.
Just
Right.
don't sit in your room and drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not the best answer to that question, but um, yeah, just I don't know. Try to find something that makes you
No,
feel alive, even if
I
it's
feel
not like a business or something that makes you money. Even if it's going fishing. I know there's veteran, what's it called, Fallen Outdoors. They're up in Alaska. They do a lot of cool stuff. Um, but I don't know, finding a group like that where you can just be out of your own head, um, and then along the way, hopefully you'll find something that makes you want to, wake up and do that again.
that was great advice. I mean, I think really, one of the hardest things is to like get outside ourselves because we feel like we're on our own now, and so it's so easy to like focus on ourselves, but sometimes we just need to like let go of that ego and try to focus on something else and find something else. And it's hard because we want to just fix it, but you're right, it does not happen overnight. It's tough. It's tough for, yeah, no matter what you did in the military. I think it's just hard leaving a culture, and entering a new culture that doesn't understand you or what you've been through.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just being around like good people, I think is the best. I live with Brad Brownfield. If anyone follows him or listens to his music, he's an Army veteran as well, um, and now just does country music full time.
I
Um,
gotta check this person out.
yeah, really nice, really cool. I don't know if he's around, but living with him has been really nice because we're not like talking about the army together or anything, but we both kind of, he was an infantry officer as well. We both kind of had a similar experience. So there's just kind of even though we're not doing any military stuff anymore, we're kind of doing our own thing. It's just nice to be around someone that, kind of knows like what you're going through in
Yeah.
life. I don't know, just trying to figure it out, trying to find something you're not going to find something like the military on the outside. I think that's just impossible, but you can just try to find something where you do cool things, whatever that is for you, with good people, and that's, you know, not
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yes, that's great. So we are coming up on time. Is there anything else I could help you share tonight? Any upcoming ideas or plans or things you got going on or already got going on? Plug it all. And where can people find you?
Yeah, yeah, Sunny. Well, I guess if people are following the live now, Sunny Actual. I do have a pretty cool clothing brand, Zuvier Lifestyle at Zuvier. Um, it's in my profile. Not military at all. It's like travel, kind of influencery. It's probably cringe, if you come from my comedy channel, but I really enjoy doing it. Dropping shades for that pretty soon. Not Oakley's or iPro or anything. Don't worry. But then, yeah, just following the comedy page. I'll be doing more non-military stuff, same type of humor. And yeah, I'm just glad people like the videos.
Yes, yeah, people absolutely love them. And I think they'll continue to love them, and your audience is gonna, grow with you as you grow. So I'm excited to keep watching you. I wanted to thank everyone who came on the live today. It was really fun reading the comments, and we didn't have any mean ones, so I'm so happy about that. And I want to thank anyone who's watching the replay. If you're catching this on the radio, thank you so much for listening. Please go check out Sunny and his awesome videos. And then Sunny, last of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the live, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a great week.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Bye.